GM, thank you for tuning in to this week's Crypto Weekly Recap episode. My name is Josh Gordon, I'm your host, and let's dive in to everything that happened in Web3 and NFTs this week. We're gonna be covering Andreessen Horowitz, the venture capital firm A16Z. They dropped a banger of a crypto report that's worth reading and learning about, so we're gonna talk about that. Coinbase went on a product spree. They dropped 3 major products this week. We're gonna be talking about some of them that I find interesting. And lastly, Magic Eden. Magic Eden has been gaining steam in the NFT marketplace ecosystem. They're the largest Solana marketplace, and some really interesting statistics that I wanna dive into and kind of talk about where the NFT market is heading. So with that said, let's jump on into these stories and recap the week. Andreessen Horowitz dropped a report called The State of Crypto, and it was very in-depth and really insightful. I always love these reports, flashback to Cathie Wood and ARK Invest dropping a lot of really detailed reports every year on their investment thesis. That's always been insightful for me, and I find this Andreessen Horowitz one to be as well. Now, it starts off with saying that this is the 4th crypto winter, or as Andreessen Horowitz is calling it, a price innovation cycle. And it's interesting that they're really pointing out that they're saying this is indeed the beginning of the next downturn. We are officially there. It's been speculated on for a long time, but experts are saying that this is it. Now, we've had crashes in 2011, 2013, 2017, and now 2022. So if you're new to crypto, this is your first downturn, welcome. Now, it doesn't mean you should be leaving the ecosystem. What it does mean is now it's time to learn and figure out what the right strategy is going forward. So if you zoom out, this downturn cycle fades away, and what you can see is progress. Now, these are the metrics that Andreessen Horowitz points out. Global crypto market cap is up 270%. Developer activity is up 68%. Startup activity is up 62%. Social media activity is up 83%. So over the long term, everything in crypto goes up and to the right. That's a positive chart. Now, right now, we're seeing a downturn based on our local highs, but in the macro environment, we're still things move forward. So it's interesting that they pointed out those 4 metrics for how they track things: market cap, developers, startups, social media, all are trending positively, even though in the last 1, 3, 6 months, things are down. Now, during price dips, it's the best time to build. So let's say that it was 1999, 2000. It's at the excitement of the internet is at its peak. Now, during the 2000 dot-com crash, a lot of people missed out on generational opportunities from investments, from startup founding, because they left the technology area when the crash happened. People take crashes as this is over. But what it really means is it's time to hunker down and start building. So we saw things like social networks, video streaming, cloud computing, cell phones. They all rose out of the dust of the ashes that came from the 2000 crash. Now, this is nowhere near the 2000 crash. Maybe some people think it is. Again, I'm not even gonna try to be like a big economic expert, but this downturn that we're in, it may not be as dramatic as the 2000 crash, yet there are going to be people that still give up on crypto. They're gonna leave this space. They're gonna say this was a bubble, it was a fad, and they're gonna move on. But the people who stay and are building unstoppable domains, we're here for the long run. Just because there's a downturn doesn't mean that Unstoppable isn't going to keep building and shipping product. And there's many, many crypto companies out there doing the same thing. So don't let these price dips kill your enthusiasm, and ask yourself, what will the next generation of cloud and streaming really look like in crypto? I think digital identity, gaming, decentralized social media, these new concepts and companies and industries are going to rise during the next few years because people are going to be committed. Venture capital funding is being deployed. The interest of people in universities is there. So a lot of good signs are pointing for things to come. A couple more things I want to point out from this report. DeFi has seen incredible growth over the last 2 years, going from 0 to 100 billion in TVL, total value locked, in just 2 years' time. That's massive. They also point out that creators are making a lot more money from NFTs than traditional Web 2 companies. So your YouTube, Spotify's, Facebook's, etc. So last year, there were about 23,000 NFT creators that collectively made about $4 billion, which comes out to be $174,000 per NFT creator on average. Now, yes, those numbers are slightly skewed because Bored Ape Yacht Club and stuff like that really dominate the NFT creator spectrum. But when you look at Web 2, Facebook paid out 10 cents per creator, Spotify, $636 per creator, YouTube, $2.47 per creator, and OpenSea, $174,000 per creator. So right now there is a high upside for being a creator in getting into NFTs and Web3 that we're not seeing in traditional social media platforms. Now, Ethereum is also the clear leader in blockchains. This has been well known, but it's good to see that stamp of approval. There are other contenders emerging though. Phantom, Solana, Polygon, BNB Chain, Avalanche. We're seeing a lot of developers there. So there's about 4,000 monthly active developers on Ethereum, 1,000 on Solana. So Solana, definitely one to keep an eye out on. Now, what does Andreessen forecast happening next? What are they predicting? Well, they think more creators will move away from platforms like YouTube and Spotify and Instagram to start creating NFTs so they own their platform. More top-tier gaming companies are going to enter Web3 and NFTs and launch their own games in the coming months. We saw Andreessen just launch their own $600 million VC fund dedicated just to Web3 gaming, so they're obviously betting really hard on that. DAOs, social tokens, and decentralized social networks are going to explode in the next couple years in crypto. And lastly, when you compare where we are today in crypto to the internet, we're at about 1995 in terms of internet adoption. So when you think about crypto adoption being at only year 1995, the room for growth is exponential. We have a long way to go, lots of growth still to come, regardless of where we stand in our price innovation cycle. All right, for story number 2, let's dive into some Coinbase product releases. Now, this one is semi-technical, so stay with me as I try to break it down with you in real time. So for a small set of Coinbase app users, they are going to allow the access to Ethereum-based dApps, decentralized applications, straight from the Coinbase app. Now, users can explore dApps without having to manage a recovery phrase. So the innovative dApp wallet that they're releasing is powered by something called MPC computation, which stands for multi-party computation. And this technology allows you to have a dedicated on-chain wallet, like Coinbase's decentralized wallet, and it helps keep your wallet and your seed phrase secure. So this is due to the way that the wallet's set up. They allow your key to be split up between you and Coinbase. So ultimately, if you lose access to your device or the key to your dApp wallet, it's still safe and Coinbase can help you recover it through their live support. So normally with self-custodial decentralized wallets, when you have one, you own your keys outright and there's no one else that can possibly help you recover it. That's a poor user experience though, and when we think about adopting the world to Web3, we can't have people potentially losing their wallets outright. So Coinbase is shifting to this kind of two-party key holder system where Coinbase holds some of the key, you own some of the key, and they can help the recovery. Now, this allows new users to easily access dApps without leaving Coinbase. So that's a huge boost to potential growth for Web3 adoption because you can go on dApps and decentralized exchanges through the Coinbase wallet with the built-in browser that's now part of it. So ultimately, I think this is really interesting, but it's also very technical and not easy to understand. So I'm going to be keeping my eyes out for more information coming out on this product in the months to come. I mean, the innovation here is that it's a semi-custodial wallet. So the idea is simple. The user keeps some key material on their device, and Coinbase keeps some key material. Both are needed to use the wallet. So if one party is hacked, the funds are still safe. Like, I get that concept, but this MPC technology is new and hopefully they'll be putting out more information on it to come, but definitely keep your eyes out for more Coinbase products. Story number 3, let's talk about Solana. So we mentioned Solana earlier as one of the chains to watch out for from the A16Z crypto report, but we're seeing Solana get some rapid adoption recently. So Magic Eden is the top marketplace for the Solana blockchain, and they're seeing some pretty crazy numbers. So Magic Eden tops OpenSea in daily trading volume as Solana NFTs heat up, and this has happened recently. So the Solana marketplace has seen more transactions than the Ethereum counterpart OpenSea in the last week. Now, according to data from DappRadar, Magic Eden has seen about 275,000 transactions, whereas OpenSea saw 50,000 daily transactions this past week, and that data is being reported by DappRadar. Now, Magic Eden further provided data showing that there was 330,000 true sales that occurred over the last week, and that's all happening on Solana. So while Magic Eden has about 24,000 traders, OpenSea has 41,000 traders. So OpenSea still has more active traders than Magic Eden, but we're seeing more trading volume happen on Magic Eden than OpenSea in the short term right now. Another interesting thing to point out is that on OpenSea, the average NFT is trading for about $700. And on Magic Eden, the average NFT is trading for about $123. So the price point for entry into the NFT ecosystem is much lower on Magic Eden, which I think is going to be bringing a lot more people in as they experiment and test out the NFT waters. Now, when you look at the fees that people are paying on both networks, we're seeing that on OpenSea, as of the time of recording this, fees are about $30 per transaction on OpenSea, and on Solana, they're less than a cent. So simply the fees alone is a massive selling point for the Solana and Magic Eden marketplace because it's a better user experience. No one wants to pay tens to hundreds of dollars per transaction. So we'll see how this trading volume and user activity continues. In the last month, the last 30 days, OpenSea's total volume of traders is down 1%, which is very little. It's basically even, but Magic Eden has been up 316% within the last 30 days for their trading and trader volume. So keep your eyes out on Magic Eden. And also, we have a podcast with the CEO of Magic Eden dropping on the Unstoppable podcast this coming Wednesday. So I'm excited to share that with you because this is very timely to hear directly from him on how they think about building on Solana. All right, now let's talk about some Unstoppable Domains news. With the first thing I want to talk about is how to mint a really cool NFT domain name. So I put out a YouTube video recently. Check out the YouTube channel in the Web3 Explained. You can watch the video there. It's 1 minute long, so it's really digestible. But basically, first names like Josh.x, Josh.nft, that's a premium domain name. And those domain names can be very expensive in the thousands of dollars. But if you want to work around for that, you can add a number and adding another character to the domain name to make it longer. So if you add 0 Josh, then that, or Josh1.x, that domain name becomes significantly cheaper. Now, if you add 0x Josh, that domain name now drops into the $25 range. So I like adding 0x before domain names because I think that it shows that it alludes to Ethereum, it shows that you're an OG in the space, and it's a fun way to have a play on NFT domain names while still getting one at a super cheap price. So I copped oxjosh.nft, that's my domain name, you see it on Twitter. So if you're looking for a domain name for the cheap, I recommend following the same strategy. With story number 2 for Unstoppable Domains, I want to talk about the Unstoppable podcast. Every single week, I share a new interview with a creator, investor, entrepreneur in the Web3 space. And these are really insightful deep dives into how people are thinking about the crypto ecosystem, how they're building in the NFT marketplaces, and building for the future. So if you want to tap into some of the smartest minds in Web3, check out the podcast this week. We dropped an interview with Arthur Kamara, product leader and founding member of Dapper Labs, which is the team behind CryptoKitties, behind NBA Top Shot, behind the Flow blockchain. So it was a super insightful interview, and he really shared a lot of his experience on pioneering a lot of the products and experiences that started the NFT space. So we also talked about NBA Top Shot being the future of fandom and how owning moments could potentially get you recognized as a fan of a player or team, socially, in real life, at a game. So lots of cool stuff coming up for NBA Top Shot. For the community member of the week, I want to shout out Anna, NFT. Now, Anna NFT, she is a digital artist from Spain and occasionally works with traditional mediums like oil, paint, and watercolors. Now, she works mainly with portraits and florals, and her work often represents feminine figures, nature, and emotions. So I'm chopping it up with Anna on our weekly UD Fam Spotlight Twitter space, which happens every single Thursday, usually around 12 p.m. Pacific time. And Anna's gonna be one of the UD Fam members we're highlighting today. So I'm excited to talk to her. Definitely listen into our weekly Thursday spaces. And Anna, thank you for repping an unstoppable domain. With our NFT project of the week, I'm doing something a little different this week. It's not necessarily an NFT project, it's really a crypto company, and that is Uniswap. Uniswap is a decentralized exchange, but the reason I want to shout out them is because this week they put out on Twitter that they're building a more inclusive financial ecosystem, and that means that they need a more inclusive team. And so they were proud to announce that Uniswap Labs is 50% women. And that's awesome to see the representation in the space, the diversity and inclusion focus. So I think that all Web3 and crypto teams should have a focus on diversity and inclusion and unstoppable domains. We're promoting that too with the commitment we've put behind the Unstoppable Women of Web3 movement. So shout out to Uniswap. Go check them out if you're looking into a decentralized exchange. All right, thank you so much for listening to this week's Crypto Weekly Recap. I really try to cover the latest topics that are breaking in the ecosystem that are important to know about, to keep track of. So much is happening in the space every week. It's a lot. So companies are launching new products, new companies are getting founded, people are getting funding from venture capital firms, new NFT projects are dropping. It's a full-time job just to keep up with it, and I'm trying to help you do that through these videos. So if you liked it, drop a subscribe below and a like on the video. It helps us reach more people. And if you're listening on the podcast, please follow along and subscribe to that as well. So with that, I'll see you next Friday with another Crypto Weekly Recap. Thanks for listening.